Hello, Super Robot fans. Welcome back to this entry into the Super Robot Wars archives. My name is Austin, and we are going to be continuing our playthrough of Alpha today. We just wrapped up a bit of a side bottle mission with Akira, and now we are heading back to the main team to, it sounds like we are sort of base hopping now. We committed to going to the South Italia route, so now we're heading off to the, base that's probably going to be favorable to us there. One thing I want to look at before we get started, I was thinking about this so much last night I could not sleep. I think there's a way where we can still get the Combattler some extra movement. So it normally has a move of 7. That's not the Combattler. That started with a Co, but that's not right. Okay, it normally has a move of 5. But its move is actually whatever the highest move of its pieces is, assuming we aren't going to actually get to use it. Which can be fine if we can get it into positioning. Like, if we just want to set it up to be able to counterattack a boss, that could still count. It works out fine that the tank has 4 moves, because it's probably the one we're going to stay in place with. Because it has we can't see attacks from here, but it has the 2100 power attack. This moves 5. This moves 5. The head moves 6 perfectly. So actually the Combattler has a move of 6. And if we can, that's 4, 5. If we can get 6, 7, 8. So this only needs 1 booster. This needs 2 boosters, and this needs 2 boosters. So if we can give 5 movement across our parts, we can give the Combattler a whole heck of a lot of movement. Because what it would be, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know it wouldn't be exactly that order, but you could keep pushing that up as long as you had more parts to hand out, but beyond 8, every single person would need 1 extra movement. I just don't know how many of those we have to hand out. And we only have 1 part slot on these anyway, so it wouldn't be boosters. We would need mega boosters for some of those. So it's not feasible right now, but it's at least something we can keep in mind. The reason being is that we can set them up at a diagonal. But even still, right now, if we aren't going to actually use the main Combattler for anything, we can separate and make a sort of line formation with the head at the front of it, and then recombine. And that does give them an extra movement in the meantime. I don't know how much use we'll get out of it, but it is a thought that I was having. Okay, let's get into some story. Where are my notes? Here we go. Yes, so we are... I guess, first we're going to pick up looking at Masaki again. He and his cats just woke up, and they are reminiscing, going over what just transpired. Masaki was dreaming about fighting Shu, so maybe Shu is still a bad guy. We'll see. So he does not have a particularly big want to hang around with us now. He's kind of, he has some motivations to go and try and find him for some reasons that we are not quite being told here yet. So he's gonna have he has a conversation with Bright and learns that Shu is presently in Japan. We are not, as we could see from the our opening map. So he's gonna he was thinking about planning to sneak out, but we don't have a real good reason to keep him here. So he'll jet. But he did promise to repay us for saving his butt. There he goes. I think setting up in a similar way to the giant robo, but with kind of reverse motivations, where we trust we're going to see him again, but in a way that sort of we're not necessarily looking for him, and he's not necessarily looking for us. But it's probably going to be on mutual terms, where it feels like when we're going to re-meet the giant robo, it's going to be because we are more broad picture asset interested in him, where Masaki, we're more small, we're sort of more personally focused and small focused. Yeah, we're in Australia right now. So I like that we have some loose ends where we have to look forward to. At this base, this is the, what is the name of this base? Trenton. We have Cowan. That's the man on the left. He and Shapiro is the man on the right. Cowan is from 083. Shapiro is from Dunkugar. So yes, I guess the Beast Warriors are from, or the Beast robots, whatever I called them before, Beast Machines, are from Dunkugar. They are debating the merits right now of how they're going to handle this attack. So Zeon is attacking the base in a way that they did during the 1 Year War, trying to grab an experimental Gundam unit, the GP02, the Physalis. Interesting that it is made during the 1 Year War. In the Gundam timeline, the 1 Year War takes place during 0079. The series it comes from is 0083, which is obviously not the same time. I don't remember if in 0083... I don't remember if they say that it was made during the 1 Year War or not. I would assume not. It may be made a little bit afterwards, but regardless, it is still a thing that's like set a little bit into the future, but it seems like we're sort of shoving all that timeline together. And that's fine. Just worth noting. But in order to counter that, we are sending out... Shapiro is sending out the Dunkugar troops. The Beast Machines. He's recently trained them and wants them to have, like, good battle experience. I like, this is kind of what I was asking for a little bit. I would like it to be a slight bit more integrated, because we're still using, like, the 0083 cast to be concerned over the 0083 plot, but the Dunkugar pilots are also concerned over, like, we're being presented that their villain is equally as much Gato in the Physalis as he is a villain to his, like, principal cast. And that feels good. That's the kind of crossover, like, cross-contamination, for lack of a better phrase, that I was hoping for. We had some, like, you know, normal character personality moments, but if you recognize them, you know what they are. Like, Shinobu's a hothead. He's the main character. He's the main character of Dunkugar. The one with the fiery red hair. I can't remember any of their names. I barely get to use them, so we'll probably end up using them some in this playthrough, so I'll probably remember. Sarah? I think her name's Sarah. She thinks it'll be a good test, but one of the other guys, I believe his name is Masanda, is kind of worried about having to, like, go up potentially against the Physalis. I guess something I think I forgot to say in the middle here is that the GPO2 is its primary armament is a nuclear warhead. I think I mentioned this during last mission, but we can talk about it now. It represents a pretty large, both, like, military and political threat, which is kind of what Zeon needs to still be present. Right now, it feels like the Titans have a lot of the like, potential sway as far as, like, Gundam villains go. So Zeon getting access to both a weapon that is theoretically supposed to be, like, protected, and not the least by someone who is anti-Titan right now. Just having a nuclear arm would be pretty devastating to have in the hands of like, the enemy. I like that. We'll get to that in a second, but let's take a look at our units. So I want to look at the GPO2 first, because it is also our expert point for this map. We need to bring it down to 50% HP. And based on that little damage we just did, that's probably going to be a bit of an ask. Oh, finally we get to see a pilot that's bringing its unit stats up. That Gato is just a very good pilot. His nickname is, I believe, the Nightmare Zeon, if I remember correctly. I'm, like, clearly been out of Gundam for so long, I can't remember, like, anything about it. Sorry, not Zeon. Not Zeon. Solomon. He gets a lot of his, like, battle record during the Battle of Solomon. Shield defense, sword cut. Okay, so engaging him in melee is perhaps one of our worst choices assuming that melee, and I guess we'll need to be very cognizant of when we're using melee against him, because the odds are it's probably likely he's going to block things. He does not have that powerful of attacks. These numbers definitely do something in this game. Like the fact that the Vulcans are 1350, where like I think our Vulcans are like 800 generally. But obviously, here's the real threat: is the atomic bomb, the atomic bazooka. He's only got one, but it'll probably kill whatever it hits. And the fact that it's a map attack, I'm curious what the area is. I don't know how long we have. Given the fact that it's the export point, I imagine he's going to retreat at some point. But the Dunkugar is usually pretty powerful. But I have a sneaking suspicion we might not get to combine into it this map. It might be just the pieces for this map, but that's fine. The GPO one is a nippy little dodgy thing. In the past, when I've used it, it's sort of rather good for its mobility, that it can get in and get to whatever enemy you want it to. But that's kind of its primary feature. It doesn't avoid that well, and it doesn't do that much damage. It's really good for picking units off. But it's very easy to make sure that it's very easy to give it a kill every turn. And in so doing, it tends to level up pretty quickly, whatever pilot's in it. So I'm curious how it'll work in here. But the GPO one is certainly not the end for Ko's units. It's gonna get Ko gets 2 upgrades over the course of his series. One very direct one and one very indirect one. If you don't know, I won't spoil it, but I think they're both very cool. The direct upgrade, the first one he gets, is also going to improve his movement a lot, theoretically. It probably won't. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit more toned down. But in the complete box, I think it gives you like 4 or 5 movement. I'm curious to see if it does that much. Oh yeah, I remember perfectly. Yeah, it is 800. Yeah, we are much more apt to use the beam rifle. We can't actually stand on these. Oh no, we can. Our movement is just such that we are running out of movement. That's a bit lame. I was hoping to go... Maybe we can. Because there's no way 1, 2, 6... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have full movement here, so we know that these tiles are not taking up terrain. Or that there's no extra terrain cost on them. So maybe these are only repair for units that can fly. I just kind of wanted to get on one and also shoot Gato, but we'll just move back. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's annoying. I moved my game over to my primary hard drive in hopes to try and stop it from freezing, but it's still doing that. It'll probably be better. It'll probably be more tolerable, but let's turn on a flash now, too. Yeah, let's see. I love also that we have a really big level disparity, because Ko is a newbie pilot, whereas Gato is a seasoned veteran. But yeah, so while this is taking place, I really like how the Physalis is being positioned here. I think video games especially really like to use nukes as just sort of this like end game big number amount, rather than treating them as this really terrifying weapon that poses more than just a military threat, but like an existential threat. Hold on. Ko doesn't get any lines, that's fine. Oh, and we don't get to counterattack, right? These are forced. I mean, that's fine. We still applied a lot of damage. I think we'll be able to get that 50% pretty easily. I can't imagine we had to do it, like, he can't leave now. There's no way we would have a chance to do that. We used our best attack. And I don't think an expert point would expect you to crit. Yeah, okay, we're fine. Because we used the flash anyway. I don't know. I was worried about dying. I see him and I'm always very scared. It's like a pretty spooky. It's like narratively a pretty spooky unit. So I think it's good how it's being used here. That the world is recognizing the threat that this thing poses. And I like that juxtaposed against this one for like really powerful alien technology. I think it's very easy to allow alien technology to stand in for the really big important threats. And there's not really like a good way of... Do you think this will kill us? It probably won't kill us, right? If it does, it'll be funny. That alien technology can sort of stand in for the more existential threats of warfare without needing to be precise. It can be really abstracted because alien technology could be anything. Like we don't know what that looks like. You could make anything up. And oh yeah, I should have read that with the Vulcans. I also wonder if we will always dodge, despite what the percentages say. I know sometimes in these like forced cutscenes, that these are in fact actually cutscenes that you just get to like press buttons to get through, that they're predetermined. But oh yeah, right. So compared to alien technology that could just be like, well, it can blow up 15 worlds. What are you gonna do about it? That, you know, our group that now knows that people after the EOT do pose a serious risk to peace. That the Xeon capturing this unit also they're being given the same weight, and I think that's very positive. I am very pro that choice. I think it's very smart. I hope we like say something about the like existential threat of warfare. We'll see. I'm glad we can transform this at first. I'm pretty sure there's one game. You know what? I think I just got Dankugar in 64, and it took us a stage to be allowed to transform them even. Okay, so we're looking at 115 dodge, 1,000 armor. Okay, so that doesn't change at all. We're still size S. And we have one less movement here. A, B, C, A. A, B, C, A. Okay, so it's just attacks. The 900, 1100, 1600. I know there are more to it than that, but just... Yes. Was the last one 800, 1800? So are we really just changing... No, we're not. Okay. Yeah, so we're getting two different attacks. We are switching in for just like the punch fight effect. And also a pretty reasonable cannon. Also, I'm sorry, is this called cannon? I think this weapon's called cannon. Yeah, so the first 4 characters, there's one large one, one small one, then 2 large ones. That is cannon. And then the kanji that's after it is also the one for like gun or cannon. This attack's called cannon. Okay, cool. Our accuracy is horrid though. Yo, we start with a Valor. That makes sense. I buy that. But that's pretty potent. Okay. I see the problem here though. Are you on terrain? Surely this is not terrain. No, it's not. Okay. We attack with 0% here, that's 52. We are adding 40, and we are only getting a 13% increase. I wonder how much of that is being modified by like hard mode. Because like it's an A on the ground both times too. Though I guess we have a B on the ground. Okay, let's check these then. This is a 93% chance to hit. This went down by 5, so it should be an 80... No, that went down by 11. Okay. I don't love the idea of using a missile, though, because he can just sword cut it again. I mean, we've also only looked at one unit. We only looked at one unit. Let's look at the rest of these. We can also see if we can combine yet. I don't think we can. Everyone's touching, so if they could combine, I think they should be able to. But here we have one of the shoes of the Dankugar. The Dankugar is such a funny unit because ultimately, like, the combination is just he puts on a hat and shoes. 1100, 1200, 1100, 1800, 1100, 1200, 1100. Okay, so we get a melee attack in there. She does not care about melee, though. Okay. 1100, 1200. I think it's probably going to work out the same way. There's so many Valors across this team. It's going to be hard not to use the Dankugar. There's Valors on 3 different pilots? 4 pilots? Yeah, that's wild. What am I supposed to do? Not kill things with it? And okay, this is probably perhaps the most serious upgrade. Yeah. Though you want to be using range damage more. So it's 2% more to use range over melee, which is in fact not 100 damage, so it is still better. Like, this attack, this like just melee attack is still better if it can land. But we'll probably end up being in the air because it looks like we have better accuracy that way for whatever reason. And we have this is the only one that I know by name. It's the Big Moth. And I guess N for when they are in like vehicle mode and H for when they are in human mode. But this is mostly what the Dankugar looks like, and these 2 units are... This is one foot. This is the other foot. And this just turns into its head. And that's the whole transformation sequence. It's very funny to me. Okay. I think we're going to start here. Yeah, because Gato only has... He only has melee if he doesn't have... Or he only has 1 range if he doesn't have the map attack. So... This is 69. This is 73, so we will try here. Okay. Sick. I love that we're getting so many units that can separate. It's all like I know I said before that I want to use units that are new, and Dankugar does not premiere here. But I'll need to like figure this out, or I might ask you all to help me figure this out. To try and figure out when a unit is new. Obviously, units that are premiering in a game will count as new. But if a unit couldn't be used that way in a previous entry, I still want to count that as new too. I guess we'll just flash. That's 67. That's also 67. Well, if it's the same either way, this does more damage, so. This synth pipe organ version of the Dankugar opening is also pretty good. Obviously, these games have great music because they're drawing on really good music, but the covers of them, like the remakes of them they make, are really, really competent. We need to get him down to 4,200. That's only 900 points of damage left. We did over 1,000 before. We're not at half yet, so we shouldn't have potential active. I think we can just use Ko to set him to 50%. Yeah, let's do that to keep ourselves safe. Or theoretically safe, because if this misses, it's fine, but this should end. This. I'm assuming that Gato is going to retreat when we hit him to 50%, and then we still have 2 units left over if we want to use them for whatever else is going to show up. I can't imagine the entire mission is just this. That'd be really funny if it was. I don't think there's a way we can kill him either. I think Ko's the one doing the most damage. He doesn't have the Valor. The Big Moth could like maybe Valor up, but it's only going to do like 2,000 points, and he's retreating at 4,100 or below. So I don't. If we could combine to the Nankugar, I think we could probably kill him. But I imagine we'll have to wait a mission or 2 to combine. Yeah, there we go. There's somebody else. Oh my word! One of my favorite units is here. I'm sad we probably won't get to use one, but I love all of the weird like hyper specific experimental units. Oh, sick! This is the rest of the 0083 cast. They're showing up to, in part, give Ko a hard time, and what else? I didn't expect this to happen like right here. It's mostly that they argue, but they're also expecting. They also said they would not be surprised if the Red Comet would show up, but they said so in a way that to me says they are expecting him under the context of Xeon, not knowing that we are on the way with the Red Comet right now, but as a hero, as a helper. This is South Burning. He is the like sort of commander of the group, I'm pretty sure. I suspect we'll probably end up getting some use out of him. I think he's probably going to end up being like a Quattro, like a toned down version of Quattro. This is Bernard Mancha. He's more of the hot-blooded type. It's kind of what I remember him to be. And then we have, who are you? Chaku? Jack? Chak? We're going to call him by his what's positioned here as his last name, Keith. He's like I would describe him more as the nerdy one, and you can also tell that he's like in a different unit. He has like more long range stuff going on. Okay, yeah, I think these are going to be some like more serviceable flunkies. We'll see if we want to switch out what Emma is piloting into one of these, because there's no world we're gonna have time to use all of these pilots, and Emma is already higher level than all of them, but I do like their spirits a little bit better. Okay, not Keith's, but yeah, maybe we will switch Emma out here. It has 90 mobility. I think the thing we need out of Emma the most is a unit that gives her a lot of accuracy. Like, that's the part where she is suffering right now. They have a plus 35 to hit. It's a 35 to hit plus 100 mobility. We'll see. But okay, yeah. So here's the rest of the enemy squad. I don't know if we'll get more reinforcements beyond that, but we have some Zaku cannons. No, that's not cannon. Is that just Kai? That's probably just Kai. These are the Rikdom 2s, the Gelgoogs. This is probably Rambaral. Yeah, this is Rambaral and the Goof. And then Cramp, depending on how we translate that. Kozun and Akos, who are some of Rambaral's like attendants, assistants, subordinates, in units that they are not normally in. But the Zamel show up in 0083, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they're 0083. They might also be an 8th Mobile Suit team. I don't remember. Like I said, I need to go back to do more Gundam stuff. But these are some of my favorite units. I really like the Zamels. I think they are like so super weird, goofy, chunky. And exactly the way I think they should be for being these like super heavy artillery units. Okay. Also, as I say that, are these the Zamel? There's two that I really... Oh, yes. Yeah. And then there's a tank that just, like, sort of becomes a, like, Mecha Centaur. And that's the Hidolfnir, I think. Yeah, Zamelu. It's spelled with a Z in Japanese, but it's spelled with an X in English. Do we have any attacks now? So I say, it'd be rude of them to give us positioning. That means we don't actually have any attacks. One thing I will say about all of these pilots is we don't have consistent ways of dodging with them. They're dependent on their units, which I don't love. But okay, let's take a look what they look like. I do generally like most of the designs from what is 8th Mobile Suit Team in OVI? I don't know. I put it 0080 and 0083 all together in my mind because I got the DVD sets of each of them all at the same time. So I sort of think of them collectively, and I generally like a lot of the design and art direction that's happening at that time. Okay, not bad. Cool. We are almost able to shoot down a Zaku, famously the worst of Gundam units. We could kill here, though. Okay, we did like 1980 at 248. This is 253. We would still need to crit, but if we crit, we will kill. So I'd rather go here. You don't by chance. Oh, you do have focus. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so South Burning is... I suspect we will probably get some use out of him. It helps that he is a level or two up on everybody. We should also look how many kills they all have, because they're theoretically part of the military to start, so it's quite possible that they're going to have kills on them the same way Banjo did. Which just gives them, like, more reason to be used as soon as we figure out what being an ace bonus gives you. I'm assuming at the very least it'll probably give us morale. Darn, no crit. I'm assuming at the very least it will give us plus morale. But I'm curious if we have double actions in this game. That would come, though, from your limit reaching... Or, sorry, your reaction reaching a certain point. I don't remember what the number is. I also don't know if it's the same between all games. But... what are our post-movement options here? Oh, they're literally just one range. Okay. Let's keep in bird mode so we can, like, actually be in combat. How many of those little, like, hand missiles do you have? 2. Okay, they have at most 5 range. We also have 5 range. Yeah, good. Okay. I didn't want to, like, put him too far forward that he couldn't counterattack if necessary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would be happier if we could put him on the base, but we cannot. So it goes. That will work. I have to say, I was really hoping for this expert point to be difficult, and that was pretty laughably easy. I'm still really enjoying this game. I just don't want to hope for difficulty the entire time. It'd be nice if that actually, like, comes through. Okay, this is... oh no, this is going to Mancha. That's fine. Okay. We've already seen what these look like. Great. We can clean that up next turn. This is going to burning, so that's fine. Yeah, so we're definitely only doing, when we're on the map, we are definitely only doing damage. We're only showing damage that's necessary to kill them. They haven't figured out how to put, like, full damage on the map yet, too. In the old games, it would only show you the amount of damage to make it lethal. So, like, if you were overkilling by an amount, the game never showed you that, which was, like, really hard to, like, make calls about what that would mean for future combats. We haven't seen the Nom yet, so let's take a look at that. What else can we talk about? Oh, okay. So we also saw the woman Nia, or sorry, not Nia, Nina here, and she also expressed a great deal of concern over the GPO2 being captured, and she is a mechanical engineer that is like familiar with both the GPO1 and the GPO2. So she's probably going to play a pivotal role in understanding exactly what these pieces moving means for the conflict. We'll definitely want to keep track of her and how she's going to function with the plot. In addition to her, keep an eye out on Shapiro. If you don't know at all about the Don Cougar plot, all I will say is he is also a character that is worth watching. I don't want to say more than that other than that he is plot relevant. I bring it up because I think we've seen a lot of commanders so far that have kind of just been like twiddling their thumbs on the sidelines, and he is not one of those. We can probably softball some damage. If we can give a number of kills to Ko, I would not be upset. There's no reason to do that. I don't know if we'll use Ko long term, but actually no, hold on. I will say we probably are not going to be using Ko long term. We're probably not going to actually end up using most of our Gundam pilots long term, because again, as promised, if we are using new units, a Macross series premieres here, so we should theoretically be using those Macross units if we get them. But that doesn't mean we can't like invest into him a little bit. Like giving him extra EXP now is still gonna like make him usable for a little bit. I do find him and these these Gundam pilots that have gain as good like halfway characters. The use them while you have them, and then as soon as you get replacements, then just drop them. That's totally okay. There are definitely some characters in this game that are like in these games that are just designed to bridge the gap between that cannon sound kind of sounded like a fart. I'm sorry. Just got very distracted. What was I saying? Oh, there are a lot of characters that are like probably mechanically more likely to bridge gaps than they are supposed to be long term, and trying to force them to be long term is probably just going to lead to more difficulty, which I suppose I say I want, but like not fun difficulty. It's going to lead to a lot more tedium is maybe the better word for it, where you are just sort of like fighting with the game to be able to like do something relevant. Okay, we probably have a couple of these things dead. We've got what? We've got 5 units, and we were like halving them approximately. I don't think we can get the big moth. This also isn't the big moth. Never mind. I was gonna say I don't think we can get the big moth over there, but it could probably kill one on its own. But that's not what's happening. So on one hand, we could attack that Dom because it's not counterattacking us, or like this Gelgoog, but that means we probably aren't going to be finishing something with it, which is probably actually okay because yeah, we can have the Land Cougar and one of the Gym Customs team up on one of these Doms, and then another Gym Custom and the Eagle Fighter team up on another one. Yeah, I think that sounds fine to me. And I don't know if it's true in this game or not, but Gelgoogs are theoretically better than Doms. They are designed afterwards. They're designed to be like more superior, where Doms are still a little specialized. But that is also a Dom too. We'll see how the game translates them. That's a pretty good animation. Do not do a lot of damage though. Are they on terrain? I did see that the Gelgoogs were having trouble moving. I wonder if this is... Not quite. They also have pretty atrocious everywhere other than space. They do have 1300 armor. We tone skin that one yet. Also, I keep checking this page as if they have defense stats, but they don't have defenses. I did that the other time with Banjo. I guess by the time you're seeing this video, you will know that, because that video will already be out. I look at the stats screen and I conflate reaction with defense often, but like that's not what the kanji says. It's like not even vaguely close either. It's just me taking this like, well, this is always where the stat has been. Okay, maybe we're gonna use Mancha because he keeps critting, or at least like use him for short term. I know this is like selection bias, right? Because it's only happened. We attacked twice. It's happened twice. But does he have something? Can't get on the tile. Darn it. His skill's not like that much higher than anybody else. He doesn't have any like particularly important attacks, or not attacks. Skills for this. Yeah, I mean, like, South Burning should be pretty more. Also, wild that they don't come with kills and Banjo does. They are, like, they're literally professional killers. They are in the military. How odd. Okay, we're gonna give you a focus again, just because I think things are gonna probably be targeting you. Actually, I don't mind moving up to try and draw fire some more, and that keeps. I think Land Cougar is Sarah. Yeah, is nope. We can go one forward. Okay. Does it have to be adjacent? Oh, you don't have post movement in this. Okay. All of my schemes are for naught. Why is the girls robot always so bad? Oh, okay, hold on. Before I get too grumpy, I'm pretty sure. I think this is Masanda. I'm pretty sure he's a guy. I've been wrong before. Correct me in the comments. No, okay. I wanted to check. I wanted to compare these two because they're both basically the same unit. But no, he also doesn't have any post movement too. So I just planned that badly. We should have had Keith attack and follow up whoever Burning was fighting. This is fine. I'm unsurprised that we are probably going to take a hit here because this is Rambarao, so he's just going to have way better stats. We do need to be careful. The Zamels have really far range. They are like artillery units, so we're going to try and like stay outside their range and then jump into range. Though I would not be surprised if they don't really have anything close. They are. Them having a body is, oh boy. Them having a body is kind of a joke. They're mostly just a cannon with a head. We don't have any healing units actively. We might have to retreat back to the base. Yeah, the shield defense is to be expected. That's also kind of why I wanted South Burning to do it. Hopefully, I was hoping that his higher skill would try and prevent that kind of thing. Actually, perfect. The Zamels are like wasting their whole identity. Can we counter? Okay. That sounds fine to me. Try not to give too many kill storage agents, but like I said, I don't think we're going to really using any of these that long term, other than maybe the Dunkugar. And if we are, they'll get plenty of kills together, or plenty of experience while combined together. Well, on one hand, seeing combat with a Zamel would be probably helpful. On the other hand, I think we could probably clear everything else out. Also, we don't have any scans here. That's a real shame. We do have trusts, which we probably should be using. Yeah, which way do you have more accuracy? That's 52. Oh, you don't have that cannon in that form. Really? Oh, okay. No, you do still have that cannon. It just decreases in range for whatever reason. Fine. I know our accuracy is pretty garbage, but if this does land, this will be rather good, and that's why you should like do these ones first. So let's try a Valor on that and see what happens. But again, no accuracy. Right. Actually, I guess we should look at what the goof is doing first. I really like this pose for the goof. This is like good in motion. I also like that its head is kind of like squished. It has, this looks like 0079's like original art style. They did not try and like upgrade it, like remaster its design to make it match a modern sensibility. It is like as goofy and crunchy as it, or not, I guess not crunchy. The opposite of that, like sloppy, I guess. The parts of the design kind of just like slid around a lot in the first Gundam. I guess let's try here too. Sweet. Yeah, we do reasonable damage when we are when we're not getting shield defensed. This is 15, 16, 17. Okay, so any lower than this, and we're going to be taking potential. So I think we probably do the big guns now to try and see if we can like jump over the potential threshold. It is a coin flip, but it is a lethal coin flip. I feel pretty confident saying it's a lethal coin flip. If it lands. I kind of wish Rambaral got a little bit more to do narratively here. He's like kind of an important character, narratively speaking, for Gundam. I feel like a lot more modern interpretations of the original story use him a little bit better, but we kind of forget in a lot of these media. Oh, wow, that's a lot of levels. Okay. Maybe not the best choice, but I mean, our levels got us the access to get more levels, so I guess it's not the worst thing. Okay, hold that thought about Rambaral. We want to focus down one of these Zamels, and then someone else can. Oh, I thought we. Oh no, that's right. I was surprised. I was surprised when we couldn't counterattack. I figured this one was going to be damaged, so I was like, someone's got to go and go and clear that, but that's not true. I guess we could attack there. I think I would rather attack the Zamels, though. They are more of a threat. Let's see if we can take out two of them. But yeah. Rambaral is, I think, narratively an important character that we don't really use very well in modern settings. It is the first time that our main character, Amuro, needs to confront the like consequences of what he is doing. And I think that's a very challenging ask. But B, he is an ace and like a pretty large. He presents a pretty large expertise for Zeon, and the conflict of losing someone that is, you know, not just competent, but that you can rely on to win fights. That military might is not necessarily just through machines, but it is through the prowess of the people that pilot them. And losing that to the modern machine is definitely part of the question that like early parts of 0079 are asking. And I think that would fit really well in this story where we have, I think I described it last scenario as, oh no, sorry, it was 2 scenarios ago. We were talking about Masaki's Psybuster and how like its magic works. That we have this conflict between the like natural versus the artificial, and whether that conflict is going to be good or not, or like what does it mean to do that? Because like we're seeing, typically when we see stories of the natural, we tend to think of ourselves on the side of the natural, on the side of like good, and thereby, and that inherently means natural. And that's like just not what's happening here. The space aliens are kind of the like organic and natural ones. Let's see if this kills us. It might. We opened this. The very first thing we did was we were the most artificial thing, a humanoid shaped robot fighting a very organic thing, like insect bug, which like stands out in these games because it's not a robot. Yeah, those Valors are really worthwhile. Just imagine what they'll do when we actually have like a really when we're not in what is the equivalent of the Getter jets. Because that's what these are, right? Like, don't forget that these little cars are the Getter jets. They can turn into people by it. That does not mean that they are the full-size robots. I think perhaps a little less cheekily, they are more accurately the Combattler pieces. But I'm a little disappointed how easy it is for the Zammels to attack. Like, it's kind of lame to me that they have a 1 range and a 1 to 5 range. Oh, we also have 2 transformations now. We must have gained that in the middle somewhere. Okay, so this is A. H is the humanoid one. And this is N. What is the difference between A and N? This is 1,200 and 1,000. This is 1,500 and 1,000. Okay, so we want to be an A then? This is still 7 movement. Oh, we also just have like a way better attack too. Interesting. Do you also have that now? Oh, A for animal. It's just that a fighter jet and a plane and the bird don't look that different. I'm gonna stare at this really long. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause for a second because I want to know what the difference between these two is. This is A for animal. This is a bird, and then H for human. So N for Nasheen. Those look the same to me. Because I can't look at them next to each other. It's not helping. There's probably like a subtle difference, but those look the same to me. Okay. Okay, so we have some like more serious combat now. Yeah, that's not bad. I think we kind of want to crash here first. Oh, we're not. Hold on. Sorry, we need to switch back to animal mode. Obviously, very easily mistaken. Or sorry, no, not very easily mistaken. Darn it, the joke doesn't work if I say it correctly. Okay, but if we're close range, then we are only dealing with one of these two, and Akos has pretty miserable range damage. He's at what, he's at 210. So it's a 5% increase on what will presumably be this attack. That's not counting in our defenses yet. We should have done these in the order of saving whoever had. Oh, we did. Okay, no, it's that South Burning has trust. Which one of them needs to probably go on burning, but maybe one of them needs to go on one of these Dunkugar pilots also. I think between the three of them, we can finish off one Zammel. It's just kind of annoying that it takes a whole turn, like a whole like rotation of units to finish off one Zammel. Yeah, I was kind of hoping when we got in close, we would be able to see a difference. For as much as this game loves just giving you visual differences. Yeah, okay. Don't get it? Grab. Okay, that wasn't that much damage. I think spending a trust on that is probably not worthwhile. We could just defend for future actions. Okay. You heal yourself. Oh, that was not a lot. Oh, it's 30% of your own HP, not 2,000. Okay. Oh, yikes. That's a lot worse. Holy cow, trust is a lot worse. I'm glad we checked that now when it wasn't, like, it didn't matter a whole ton. I think we're just going to go, this is probably fine, because surely this kills. And then we'll just need to figure out, we'll probably just end up blocking those ammals during enemy phase. I'm sure at least one of them is going to be using its, like, large heck-off cannon. But now that we have these attacks, though, we have, like, a better way of clearing them. That didn't quite do a quarter, but the 4 of them together will probably do... We'll probably be able to take out almost one of them. And then if we're already doing one attack back to them during enemy phase, if it's safe. They're also gaining 5 levels when they kill it. Okay. That definitely helps. Yeah, I guess, like, let's just peek these accuracies. I'm a little tempted to send south after this Dom, seeing as no one's in range to be able to attack it right now. Like, just put him here. Or I was gonna say, even if it didn't kill him, I think it's pretty bad to just, like, give it a free turn on us. That's just, like, wasting time. Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to risk this. It's the best attack, but it's also on someone who's got full health. Come on. Oh, okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. I was worried, but I guess this is also still using their worst stat. Cramp, though, is perhaps the, like, boss of this map. I guess in addition to Rambarao. Oh, more. Man, we really showed up just in time for us to not matter. Right, we can't just, like, arrow down. Oh, we get so few deploys in this. That's really funny. Okay. I don't think we actually need to deploy Emma. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We'll deploy the Methus. The Combattler wants to go out. The Getter wants to go out. The not Grendizer. The Grungust definitely wants to be out there. I guess we'll use the Kyakushiki. We're not really using energy. Oh no, okay, we got one more. We got 2 more. Okay, well we'll send the core booster out then too. I think I feel pretty confident that we're gonna switch Emma in where Keith is because he's just not doing damage. We'll compare their stats afterwards, but we need people that can, like, move forward. I don't think we're gonna be using pretty much any of this party right now. Yeah, that's fine. We've seen a team. We're facing the wrong direction, guys. Were we not supposed to have killed this much at this point? Okay, let's see if we just, like, don't need that group. All right, here we have now actually a Mastodon. Oh yeah, sorry. That's what the moth is of Big Moth. It's a mammoth. They definitely have some Power Ranger feel to them. Okay, right. That's the Land Cougar. What is this? The Land Lion. I'm assuming land. Oh, sorry, Liger, not lion. My mistake. Okay. You actually probably should go behind it. No, we got to count these some more. Okay, so Keith can finish one if it gets down to, like, 700 HP. He's just too low on his own. Okay, we have 2 trusts. He can heal himself. be nice if you showed how much that was going up to. He can heal himself, but he does have a flash to keep himself safe, so maybe he doesn't need to be the one to finish one if we don't want to give him the XP, because I kind of don't. But his is barely chip. It's still probably better. It's still probably correct to do his early. Okay. The fact that we can't get there with the big moth is definitely a problem. Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely an issue. Yeah, and there'd be a red tile over this if we could move in here if they were in the way. But we also only have... Yeah, okay. So I guess we probably won't end up killing both the Zambals this turn. We'll just kill this one. Yeah, that's fine. So let's stack with Keith first, like I said. This will also just... I guess this is wasting its cannon, which we probably aren't going to be fighting against very much if we're in range. Also, we just missed both times. I do wonder if we can combine now, though. So that's why I also want to move here first. And then we can check with the big moth if we can combine. By, like, moving here, because they're all touching. Yeah, I guess we probably can't yet. That's disappointing. Okay, we'll go here. Yeah, we can at least finish this Zamble this turn. I think, given how this scenario has been going, the ace point should have been any of your characters that got deployed later getting a kill is the thing. Should have been the ace point. Does anybody else still have a trust? Yeah. Man, I was like super counting on Wright's trust that it was going to be like this like really potent heal with how low HP some of these pilots are. But, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I am actively kind of pro making trust work this way because there's just there's so little incentivization to upgrade your HP, where now you might actually have like there is an amount of good reason to upgrade your HP. Sweet. I was kind of hoping we didn't quite kill, so I could give that to Ko, but we'll give the last one to Ko. But now there is a reason to upgrade your HP because we have to, like, something actually scales off of the percentile of it. I tend only to upgrade HP first of my defensive stats or like early into the defensive process. We got 141 XP just for Chip there. That's wild. Darn, we should have doubled it. I would have had I realized. Yeah, that said, though, I kind of maybe want to give it to Mancha just because he has Fortune and getting... Would we get 5,000 out of them? I have no idea how money is working in this game. Yeah, everyone's so far away. Oh, here, we'll try the thing with the Combattler now. And actually, I have a second point I can make about the Combattler that I'll try and show off. It's not going to work perfectly because I can't, like, I physically can't do it here. But it's an idea that I've had that I think I've seen happening, but I can't remember. It might be an element that's in Y that I'm thinking of that wouldn't work, but it could have been happening this entire map, and I just like didn't think to bring it up. But now that we've like committed. Oh, actually, you know what? No, because these have attacked. We all always face the same direction. Okay, never mind. What I was thinking was, can I change which direction I'm facing based on who I'm attacking, thus changing the position of where the battle tank was ending? Because where the battle tank is ending makes a big difference. We want it as close to the enemies as possible. You do get stopped by the roads. That's funny. Okay. We want as close to the enemies as possible so that when we, like, spread out. Okay, next to the getter. Yeah, see, this is a problem, right? So they do have enough, they theoretically have enough movement to make it there, but no one can go to this tile because of where they separated out to. Oh, no, okay, no, we can do it here. But at that point, we should have just used it on the combattler. All in told. Yeah, okay. Never mind. My strat is cute and not actually good. It's worth checking, though. There is a world where that will work. That was weird. What? Nope. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to kill you this turn. Put the hawk behind it. I guess if anyone has XP, we should be using it. But instead, we're just going to Valor here and kind of probably waste some. But Shinobu is the one that needs XP. Oh, that'll just kill it. Never mind. That was a mistake. Okay, here, we get to see the... Oh, this is not actually Big Moth mode. Let's transform into Big Moth mode. Can we get there? We can't. Okay, we can still see it in action, though. Never mind, I forgot to turn the animations on. Okay. I think we're going to do the same thing we did with Garuda. We are going to attack with Ko. I don't think we're going to have enough to kill, but it'll probably get it close enough that we can set it up for Mancha to then get the money off of it. But if this does kill, I wouldn't be upset. Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. I keep messing things up. Yeah, I guess we're not gonna wait for the getter to get over here, so... Yep, that'll work. Here's a fortune. We just, like, we do need to be thinking about getting extra money, seeing as our funds are being cut right now. Go here to get resupplied. Look, the group we brought in connected up. I think at this point we're probably finished. Like, I don't think we're gonna get anything else. They show up so late, they just like, don't matter. That'll probably wrap it up for us. Let's see. I also said they were worth 6,000 money, I'm pretty sure. Let's see how much money we actually get. We got so little from the Gantes comparatively. We got 94 out of 2,200. Oh, sorry, we got 9,400 out of 22,000. How much are you going to give me? It's got to be percentile based, because otherwise we would never get money again. Okay, so we got 5,000 out of that. We only lost 1,000 of it. Oh, so okay, that's good to know. So it also scales differently then, because I was taking that 9,400 from 22,000 and cutting that 22,000 in half, because that's what it does for your units, but that's not the case here. We're pausing on the screen because I want to see what the difference was. That's like 83%. It's 83 repeating. It's got to be some inconsistent amount. Because we lost, that's only 1,000 coming off of what the default amount is. So if by number we're losing 1,000, that wouldn't make sense going from 22,000 to 9,400. But also percentage-wise, 5,000 to 6,000 is a way 5,000 is a way larger percentage of 6,000 than 9,400 is of 22,000. I don't need to know the answer. Like, we know that it does exist. Part of the fun is trying to figure it out. I think the only way it works is if it is just an inconsistent amount. That may be generics, mini bosses, and actual bosses have it apply like 3 different ways. That for like generics, it doesn't do anything. For mini bosses, it does like a 10% or roughly speaking, whatever, decrease. And for major bosses, it does a different percentage decrease. Or maybe each one is applying a small percentage and it just scales up better because you have a larger number that's bigger. That probably isn't the case though, because it should still scale the same amount. Who knows? Sorry for that brief math tangent without like actually any results of it. Yeah, I think that about covers it numbers wise. We can hop into the story. So a lot's gonna happen right now. Thank goodness after such a like absence of story earlier. So first we question about like why a Gundam that can like fire nukes was developed, which I'm glad we're asking questions. That's a question we should be asking. And then we get told that the GPO-1 and the GPO-2 are part of the same project, that the Titans were working on a project to develop Gundams that were more specialized to counter specific, circumstances. They're not narratively saying this, but it is going to end up narratively being very similar to how the Xeon made a lot of like custom specific units. The GPO-1 was designed to fight like in like large gravity wells or like in really intense like bouts of space, whereas the GPO-2 was designed for this like escalate to de-escalate kind of attitude, that if someone wants to break the rules of like a nuclear treaty, they then had the power to back it up and be like, sorry, no, you signed on to this. We will deploy if you are willing to use force. We are also willing to use force, which obviously never works. Quattro says that any of this, like the development of these or the plans to steal them, he was not aware of while he was still part of Xeon. So maybe this information was leaked by the Titans who were originally working on the project. They could have leaked them to Xeon to get them to acquire them. So maybe either, since I think one of the last two scenarios, it made it sound like the Titans were not quite as in league with Xeon as maybe we, like on our side, were seeing. So either maybe the Titans leaked it such that they could take advantage of Xeon and then like nab them out from under them when like Xeon could not handle them, or like Xeon sort of fell apart. Or maybe there are people, like maybe the Titans are also like a faction divided, that half of them are pro joining with the Xeon forces and the other half not. So I like that little internal conflict. That's sort of what I'd asked for before. Cowan, the general of this base, notes, or doesn't, he asks us to go after the GPO-2 and try and recapture it for him, because it like poses a really big concern. And we were sort of there. We were at this base with the ask to. That's not how that sentence goes. We were at this base to cooperate with Cohen because he was already an anti-Titan supporter. Even before the like coup started, he was already part of the Federation faction that was like, maybe the Titans aren't quite so necessary. So we have some like mutual interests that we are sharing, but also in a way that's like very transactional. It feels a very professional relationship, which I say to contrast Shapiro, which we're going to interact with in a very non-professional and very transactional way in a minute. Nina and Mora, who are two of the mechanics, one more physical, one more like lab-y. Nina's more lab, Mora's more like physical, if I remember correctly, and just based on their outfits. They are now setting up shop in the Argama, now that we're sort of all operating together. So the GPO-1's going to come with us, and same with all the like gym pilots. And Shapiro also asked if we could take the beast machines with too, as like in the same way that we've been like we're theoretically going to be taking the our project people with us, just to like give them more combat experience, which is like getting a little tired as a reason. Um, I think it would have been very easy for it. It seems like Shapiro has a very unprofessional relationship with Cohen, to contrast what we were just saying we established between like Bright being our military representative with him. I think we could have seen like a bit of a motivation of wanting to sort of like one up and you know, he responded to Gato's thievery of the GPO2 pretty disinterestedly. It was more of an excuse to test his project than as like an actual threat he wanted to try and recover. So sending his project with as a way to sort of like one up Cohen feels like it could have been equally as good of a motivation that we aren't really exploring, or maybe just my translation is not covering that. Okay, here we have, I think this part of the crossover is maybe prone to losing some character development. So, Mancha, the man on the left right now, is trying to like undermine Ko's power, undermine Ko's authority, that despite having a Gundam, he was unable to recover a Gundam, and that kind of disqualifies him from being the main pilot of the GPO-1, that it should probably be Mancha or, you know, South Burning, the like most experienced of them. All of that is canon to 0083. Nina, to like sort of fast track the relationship between Nina and Ko in the show, Nina steps in and is just like, no, he's great, don't worry. She kind of reminds Mancha that he is in fact the main character of the series, and you could probably let him deal with it. But Mancha does not relent. But here's the part, that's why I paused right here. Shinobu, the main character from Dankugar, steps in on behalf of Ko and defends him too. That like, you know, you weren't there. He in fact did his best. He like stopped him from like firing a nuke on the base. But that like the fact that none of Ko's peers stand up for him in exactly that way. Like even if he gets any support from people who aren't Mancha, they do not have the same sort of like presence as another main character who is in charge of another really important robot does. And I think an important part of Ko's story, to the detriment of his own mental health, but to the benefit of us as an audience that like is trying to learn something, he needs to have that moment of isolation where there is no one that is comparable to his position. Like he has people on board, I don't remember the name of their battleship is, that are not dismissive of him, but they also don't have the same kind of responsibility that like the Beast Fighters do, or like if a Getter pilot stepped in and said the same thing. So I wonder how that's going to change what Ko's character, what his personality is like, and how that will result in like the end plot, because like we kind of need Ko to be unhealthy for a lot of the 0083 plot to transpire, and it feels like we're going to kind of want to follow the 0083 plot based on like what just happened. I'm curious. It'll be interesting to follow up, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. It's because it's very deliberately using story that we have, but changing it with crossover, and like that's what I asked for. Like that should theoretically be good. So I'm not dismissing it. I just want to note it because it feels like it's probably the most major change, I would say, that's happened through the crossover so far. And now the rest of our pilots, who are like pretty well tied down to their units, are debating the merits of being able to like this kind of conversation between the Gundam teams like just could not happen with them, like that their units are so specialized to them. Yeah. It's a very cute moment of like the series recognizing that there is some like incongruity between the worlds it's trying to like jam together. I don't know if this is exactly the moment, but I guess we'll talk about it right here. So Shapiro is perhaps throwing his weight around a little bit, and maybe that's the phrase I want to use. There's something is not quite right. We were offered like military assets, so like resources, sort of like letters of recommendation, like access to future bases, in a way that like lets us continue doing our mission. But Shapiro expects us to behave as if we are a military vessel, describing that we have now been approved by the Federation military. The cast is a little bit surprised by that, but like we kind of already were part of the military. I mean, like they were operating independently, but like we were still. There's some like weird nomenclature, or we're sort of riding the line between like what our actual status is. But like that's not the important part. The important part is that he asks us for all of the information that we have on arrogators, and he insists that that information needs to be handed to him, that there is no other option. We will experience consequences if we do not hand it over. B, only classified people should know about it, and to him that does not include people even as like quote high up as Bright or Quattro. And Oka also, that he, despite the fact that Oka talked about, I guess it wasn't Oka that was talking about it, but he, like, we know that Oka knows a lot about this stuff because he's part of a number of these projects that are designing robots to try and combat like the alien threat. It was Shu, I think it was Shu, or one of Shu or Ingram who mentioned the other project. I thought it was Oka that did, but he did not. But like he still worked with the Combattler and the Voltace under the premise of like fighting alien threats, and like that's also what the not machine beasts, but the Dankugar pilots, that's what they were designed to do too. So like he is like directly, he is being rather antagonistic towards theoretically people who should be like his peers and his allies that are like working towards the same goal. We, for obvious reasons, are not inclined to agree to this. Oh, right, sorry. That was the important part. It's not just that we have to hand over our data. It is that all the information about the arrogators, because we are not classified individuals, not only should be handed over to him, but also we should delete it. We should remove any of our like master copies of it. And that feels incredibly suspect. I think we as the audience are supposed to very deliberately think about that in contrast with the fact that the spaceship drop to end the 1 year war is alien, which seems very similar to the arrogators, if not exactly one-to-one that. Seeing as we were told that they were maybe the ones that dropped the battleship. But that information was covered over, and that kind of affects how everyone perceives the world. So like we've got a mini cosmology of that happening right now, with Shapiro going like, here's information that you were privy to. I now need you to pretend like you don't know that because you shouldn't be allowed to know that information. I can handle this. It's not for you to know. So like I said, I didn't know when we were gonna. I didn't know when this was going to happen. I don't read the end of mission story stuff until we get to the end of the mission. This is a little bit of what I was pointing to when I said we should pay attention to Shapiro. We should keep our eye on him. I did not expect us to do this like this immediately, but that kind of behavior feels pretty suspicious to me. It feels very manipulative on his part. Just asking for information does not feel that suspect, but requiring information and preventing us from having access to it is not something that I think we should be taking lightly. I guess actually, hold on. So another part of this is paired with this too. I didn't even think about this. We also are also replete with extra armor. I guess we'll put this on the combattler. We don't really have any other like good tanky options yet. That's all. Is that a 30% accuracy increase? That's pretty wild. Okay. I think it's gonna go on Emma. I'll try and do stuff in the background while we're talking about plot still, and then I can mention anything in case in case this really matters. I'll mention what we're doing. Oh yeah, but we sort of have like a small cosmology of this with the Grungust and main character, in our case, Brooklyn. But kind of in the reverse, that everyone keeps expecting this to be like we have to like be hush hush about this. We're probably gonna get in trouble for having stolen it. Like, don't worry, buddy. We'll like find a way to bail you out of it. And everyone's just been like, nah, it's totally fine. Like, don't worry about it. But it is a piece of information that like theoretically should be kept secret. And I would say that's probably a slightly smaller scale than Shapiro with the Arrogators, than a battleship that ended a war. So we have like a small, medium, and large size version of this same plot, but like handled in 3 different ways. We have free access to the most private and most specific version of this information. At medium scale, we are being forbidden it, and at large scale, it is now too large, and there are too many people who know about it to be able to like force us to keep quiet about it. And I like that. I like that interplay, that we are showing it in a multitude of ways. But it's not just one note, right? It's not, we don't, in a story that right now is about information, we are not representing it singularly, which is like, I think, how it should go. How people relate to information depending on like what their position in their world is, or what their position in their organization is going to change how they're going to relate to the world at large, right? Shapiro is in charge of a military project that is designed to fight aliens. Like, that's a very privileged position to be in, one that affords him a lot of power. So it makes sense. Like, I'm not surprised that I don't want to go as far as say like the power's gone to his head. Because for all we know, like it's quite possible that he took this position knowing that this was going to be the power that he had access to. But he's wielding his power to control information, where a lot of the stuff about the 1-year war was sort of done out of a concern to try and keep people safe. I don't get the sense quite yet that Bien Zoldark is as much of a villain, or if a villain at all, that it like we opened by being told that he was concerned over the safety of humanity. Like, that is not those are not the words of a villain, or if they are, they're at least a sympathetic one. And that is a very different ring than how Shapiro just described it, of this like, no, you're not worthy of it. Yeah, maybe worthiness is the phrase, that there is like moral value placed on the information, and we don't live up, despite the fact that we've like been fighting on behalf of protecting the people that theoretically Shapiro is maybe trying to protect by keeping this information secret. He did say he was going to have us arrested if we didn't hand over the information, not killed. So I don't think we have a reason yet to suspect that he is like actively malicious, but maybe the word I will commit to right now is very controlling. I think from what we've seen, he wants to save the world, but I think he wants to have his name as the author of it, you know? But this is a lot of really good, like, drama conflict, right? We have we are following up on Masaki and what he is doing with Shu, a character who we are theoretically somehow like fated to be around and knows about why we have the Grungust, but isn't saying, and is like maybe up to something, but is maybe working with Ingram, who is also maybe up to something, who are working on a project that we keep being told, oh, right, there's another one. Oh, right, there's another one. Every time we go to a base that it seems like everybody else knows something about it or not, like, than we do. We started with being like, oh, it's the Combattler. Okay, cool. Oh, we also stole where we have another one in back. We got like another one in the shed. Oh, don't worry. And then we saw the RX. We saw the R project, and they're like, oh, shh, don't tell anybody. We're like working on half of the units, and we're like, sorry, there's more of you, and you said half? What? And then now the Don Cougar pilots. So I think we can probably pretty comfortably say that there's probably another project. I think we should assume that there's probably more projects happening that we don't know about. We somewhere in here, I don't remember where it was. I forgot to mention it, which is unfortunate because we had a lot of downtime I could have. Big Fire has taken blueprints to 2 different weapons, or if not blueprints to the weapons themselves. They don't know because they weren't there when they went to go look for them. It was the ones that Ginrei was talking about during the Giant Robo stage, that she had gone to China to explore. There were 2 different weapons in that cave, and good evidence points to Big Fire having collected those. So, and we haven't really seen anything from them since. So, like, how do they interact with the rest of the groups right now? Xeon and the Titans have they definitely have a very nuanced relationship, but we keep getting threads that are like half stories of whatever that is. So we don't actually quite know exactly what the details of that relationship looks like yet. And and we are still tracking the Akira villains seem kind of new for this world. They plus the Campbellians feel like an equivalent to an alien threat, but not the same as the one that dropped the battleship. So we suffice to say, we have a lot of different sides and a very imprecise grasp on how those sides are working. These are still very general ideas. We're getting like more specifics about the Gundam sides. That's also, but like those are also ones that are still baked into the Gundam stories themselves. We're applying them in a different way slightly, but well, yeah, I mean, like the Titans exist after 0083, so like they have no relationship to this project. Well, not no relationship, like it was still, we are ascribing specifics to people that would not necessarily have been specifically working on the project at the time. But it's still like largely internally consistent to the world. So I hope we're still setting up pieces, and I'm still totally fine with that. I think we're setting up our pieces really well. But like a lot of good literature, there's a point where you can still set up pieces, but every time you set up 2 or if we set up 3 pieces, I would also like us to start knocking down maybe one of them during a mission. Not that we have to answer questions, but like, you know, something more specific activates. I feel like we're still a lot of like preparatory. I know this mission is like, or not this mission, this game is pretty long. We're only 11 missions in. Like, we still got plenty of time for it. I'm not worried about like we're going to end it soon and we don't know what's going on. But I would like to start getting some more specific questions we are asking about like what a lot of the rest of the aliens are doing. Why everyone feels so heckin' paranoid about trying to keep this information specific. Like, are we leading up to the fact that there in fact was a second attack that like vastly gutted a lot more of the protection that we thought we had? There have been aliens that have been living on Earth this entire time and we didn't realize it. Something like that. Like, I would like to start seeing a more specific question, and one that is original to this plot more than it is to like one of the original shows. And I say all of that not as like, well, the game should have done that. Like, I suspect we are getting there. I'm just like, I would like to see us starting to do that soon. I'm hoping that is the case. My only other thought is that I also hope we get to some, like, I signed up for this side hoping we were going to have harder expert points, and the stealthy sortie proved to be pretty easy, and taking the GPO2 down to 50% health felt like the stage thought it was, like, that stage thought it was harder than it was, and we kind of cleared it before we knew what to do with it. So that's definitely something that still needs help. I hope difficulty is not just that we get lower percentage points of things. I would like that plus something, you know? But I think those are my thoughts at the risk of getting into the 2-hour point. I think I spent like 30 minutes just talking about plot, but I feel like there's at least a lot to say now, which is like definitely a plus. That's definitely a plus. And like I said, I would like to start seeing some more specific threads we can follow up on. But we'll have to save that for next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're watching this episode when it comes out, there's going to be a lot more alpha on the channel for the immediate future because of how my schedule is working right now, so you can look forward to that. But if you would like something else in the meantime, my playthrough of W is probably happening somewhere around here. Again, my schedule's a little wonky, so it might not be right around if you're watching this live. But we're just starting that up. My generics playthrough of GC, so we're like using the non-main characters or non-main villains from their series to try and get us to like do some more thinking, use some of the like characters we wouldn't otherwise get to see, is ongoing on Mondays. And if you're a little tired of robots but not that tired of anime, Friday, I guess it will only have been streamed once by this point, but you can look forward to more streams on Fridays. Fantasy Maiden Wars, the Toho take on Super Robot Wars. But regardless of what you do watch, I really appreciate that you're here. I love this community that we are making. Constantly great. And every day that I open up my YouTube and look at the number of people who are here, I am so delighted. I am so thankful. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching again. And enjoy the rest of your evening and make meaning out of the rest of your day. Take care.